Hey, it's Claire. How are you? I'm trying to figure out my schedule, my filming schedule, so I can do this every day. It's been a challenge. I've been going through it and going through it. And I have two versions of my schedule. One has me filming at 2:30 in the afternoon, which is, well, it's like 4 o'clock right now. And then another version has me filming at 4 a.m. I guess that's like 12-hour difference approximately. And I have to figure this out. It would be really great to release a video every day that I film it. It doesn't seem like the same situation. It doesn't seem fresh when I film one day and release it the next day. I would like to release it the same day. So I'm just trying to figure out my schedule. Bear with me. I don't know when I'm going to post every day. It's either going to be at, according to my two schedules, it's either going to be at 11 a.m. like I was trying for all these days, or it's going to be at 9:30 a.m. Those are the two times. We'll see. 9:30 might be more convenient. It might be a little earlier, right? Maybe to give everybody a head start. You know, my views don't really reflect the interest that people have in my videos. It's very sad that the CIA has to keep me a secret. You know, it's very sad that I don't get to have real views on my videos. I mean, everybody else in the world, they make a video and the real people who are interested in them watch their video and it gets recorded on YouTube. My views don't get recorded. I know that somebody in my camp records it off YouTube or wherever. Well, that's the only place I post it. And they play that they post that copy in a private area, and I have, you know, there are more people watching my video than is evident on my channel, but the CIA is controlling everything. I don't own my own life. I don't own myself. I don't have my own life because the CIA controls everything. I'm a prisoner of the CIA, apparently. So it doesn't matter how hard I would try to build a business, it wouldn't happen, would it? So maybe that's why I haven't tried harder. And, well, I have tried, but maybe that's why I've stopped again and again. And because it's not very motivating to see 0 views on your videos. To see, you know, I mean, I know you have to work at getting an audience, and that usually takes money and a lot of time and effort, and, you know, I'm taking care of Elizabeth full time, and, you know, I can't even believe that I've been as consistent as I have with these videos. I'm really surprised that I've been able to do it, and I want to keep it going because I know I know my time, I'm going public soon. I know it. I just know it. And this is the lead up to my full public disclosure or introduction to the world, right? I mean, I guess. I mean, I can only guess. I can just hope. I can just, whatever. If you notice, I have this new thing. I know it looks kind of funny. See, I'm turning it around. This is how I'm putting my mask around my neck. I'm, you know, this is what they look like. They just arrived in the mail. I think it was today. And they help you wear it around your neck. I'm always getting my husband is always, Dean, is always forgetting his mask, and this is how you put it around your neck. And yeah, I have scarves, the kind of masks that go over your face. They're just kind of flimsy, and they're not as good protection as regular masks. So I always used to use mine to put my mask inside of. So I'd always have my mask available around my neck. My husband, for whatever reason, doesn't like to wear a little scarf thing, and so he's always forgetting his mask. But this thing, I think, will free him up. I made a little knot so that, these things fall off if you don't tie them tight. So I had to kind of knot his mask onto it, and it's going to work just fine. And mine have adjustable, they have little tabs on them that adjust the length, and I've made it really tight around the hook so mine doesn't fall off. And yeah, I think everybody should have their mask around their neck ready at all times, and instead of leaving them everywhere. All right, so let me start off by saying that I approve Amy Coney Barrett. I can tell she's my genetic daughter. Oh my gosh. And I notice how she refers to, I watched early this morning, at the beginning this morning, didn't watch everything, just watched highlights in the beginning. And yeah, I noticed her refer to herself not being a royal queen. I don't know what she thinks about me. But yeah, I can see her rigidity and obsession with perfection. These are my genes. But I can see also that she's a good person, and that, I really watched and saw that she meant that she would rule according to the law, that she wouldn't bring her own beliefs into the law. And it was very interesting the way she explained, and everybody, it was also the senators asking her questions that helped, I think, a lot of people understand, including myself, how the judicial branch works. And I'm so glad I'm not a judge or something like that, because I would not be able to stand not being able to speak my mind, to have to, go through a whole detailed, lengthy process. There's a lot of, it's a very long process to bring something into law, and it's like a community effort in the judicial branch. It doesn't, one person, like in Congress, it's not like somebody can just like bring up, a vote on a law and then make something law. It doesn't work like that in the judicial branch. And is it the legislative branch, which is Congress? Yeah, there are all kinds of personalities, and they all speak their mind. And yeah, I guess one of the senators today was explaining that's why, we have term limits, and the judicial branch doesn't. We can be voted out if people don't like our opinion or the law that we're proposing. We can be voted out, whereas, with judges, it's a lifetime appointment. And yeah, judges don't have the freedom that most people have to express themselves, because they're bound by certain canons, is it? And I would never be able to be a judge, so I guess I shouldn't be so sad that I didn't get my education and become a lawyer and a judge or something like that, right? It would not have suited me. At the same time, I can't help but, like my husband and I were watching it together, and he was like, she's okay, but she speaks so much legalese, all this jargon. And yeah, it's true. But I really appreciate listening to all the way that she explains everything, because I can follow it, and it's very interesting. Like my husband couldn't follow it exactly, but it was very fascinating. I could never be a judge, though. Now it's confirmed, but yeah, interesting. And yeah, it shows. It's also been very helpful for me to understand where my place in government will be, because I'm not going to be just stuck at the executive level, and all of us, with all of us going around in our merry-go-round like government does. I'm going to be at the top, overseeing everything as the royal queen, as Coney Barrett put it, to make sure, that everything is going smoothly and according to the will of the people, and not just a certain group of people. I'm talking about, the majority of people in our society, which no one in government really truly represents. It will be me who represents the common person, the homeless, the impoverished, the abused, the forgotten about, the victims. That's me. That's who I will represent. And those are the people that I will put before anyone else in our society. All of you, I am a member, I guess technically I'm a member of the middle class at this point in my life. Lower middle class, but the lowest of the low in the middle class. But, and yeah, I've gotten a taste. I grew up, in a pretty well-off family, and, we used to think of ourselves as the upper, as upper middle class. But I think if we were honest back then and really considered how most people live, it would be the upper classes that we were part of. It wasn't upper middle class. It was upper middle class according to our standards in Princeton, New Jersey. There were a lot of very wealthy people there. And we were just, both my parents secretly had a lot of wealth, but they didn't want anyone to know that. So the public wealth that my family displayed was on the level of upper middle class in Princeton, New Jersey. But yeah, there was a lot of secret wealth that they didn't want anyone to know about, and that would catapult us into upper class. But we played the role of upper middle class in Princeton, New Jersey. But that role and the public money that was exhibited really, I would say, put us in the upper classes, and we were just a little more sheltered than I am today. And I would say that we didn't really care or understand how most people live in our society. So I'm going to be representing, in my duties as queen and as president, but primarily as queen, because my title of queen gives me the authority I won't have as president. As queen, I will be thinking of the, everybody that everyone forgets about. I will be representing the forgotten about, the untouchables, the people that nobody cares about, the people that don't make politicians money. Those are the people I will be representing and thinking about. I'm thinking about everyone, but I will be primarily concerned for everyone that everyone forgets about, because I was among them for many, many years. And I don't know how it's going to work yet. Somebody has it all figured out, and I probably helped to plan it. I just don't remember all the details yet. I just know that the Supreme Court will be one layer below me, and I'm not going to let important laws die. I'm not going to let some Republican president to, I'm not going to let all these conservatives who don't have any understanding of what it's like to live on the streets of America to decide how life is going to be in America. Okay, let me just put it that way. And I'm sorry, but anyone who is conservative is a little sheltered and hasn't really suffered in poverty. If anyone out there, you have to have really suffered in a state of poverty to become more liberal. You can't, if you're conservative, you're sheltered. You're not. You're in denial of reality because you're sheltered. So I'm here to make sure that the people who suffer in our society don't suffer anymore. And the people who anyone, and they're, I understand the suffering of the middle class too, okay? I do, I do. I'm just a little more concerned about people nobody cares about, okay? Because the middle class is always, there's always going to be a Biden or somebody who cares about the middle class. I mean, the middle class are like, I think, the majority of people who vote, so, I'm not as concerned about them, okay? But yes, I'm concerned about living paycheck to paycheck. People who live paycheck to paycheck, I don't know that they're exactly middle class, are they? I'm concerned about people who, who can't pay their mortgage. And, I'm concerned about everybody who suffers. It's just, I have to focus on the people that nobody cares about, everybody forgets about again and again because they don't count, right? They're not human because they can't get it together and have anything substantial in this world, so they don't count. That's wrong. That's backwards. That's upside down, and they're the ones that count the most in my book. All right. I want to mention that I happened to watch James Obergefell talk the other day on CNN, and he's the guy, I guess it was his marriage that got marriage legalized in the United States not so long ago, and he said something very interesting. He said that the LGBTQ, yeah, it's LGBTQ, right? He said the LGBTQ community doesn't enter Christians' homes and places of worship and tell them how to live their lives, but so many Christians, I should say so many so-called Christians, are always entering our courthouses and secular life telling us how to live, the LGBTQ people how to live. And Christians, it's none of your business how people live their lives. If it doesn't, you don't have to go in their homes. You don't have to I know there's been some issues about businesses, small businesses or whatever, not wanting to make wedding cakes, for example, a bakery not wanting to make wedding cakes for LGBTQ couples, because it's against their faith or something like that. Look, don't make wedding cakes. If that's your issue, that is discrimination. That's like saying, I don't believe in the rights of black people, so I refuse to sell products to black people. It's the same thing. I know that you're not black and you maybe don't understand Black Lives Matter, whatever, but that doesn't give you the right to discriminate against people. If you have such an issue with gay marriages, don't make wedding cakes. Make cakes for other occasions, and just say, oh, I don't want to get into making wedding cakes because I would end up discriminating against people that I feel are violating God's law. You know, don't make wedding cakes. That's what I say. How do you know? I mean, I know you have a book called the Bible that seems that you think is your manual to follow, but it was written by men primarily. I mean, there's some wisdom in there, yes, but a lot of it is just the opinions of men who wanted to control the masses. So, God made everybody, right? And not everybody is born the same. People have different colored hair, they have different colored skin. People are different sexes. Some people are both sexes. They have different interests. God made everyone with all the interests that they have in their heart. And yeah, God even put them in life situations that brought out different things, different aspects of their personalities, different, things happen to create certain behavioral patterns in them. And yeah, God knows, everything. So if God knows everything, why do you think that God would create someone to grow up a certain way and prefer someone of their own sex over somebody of the opposite sex? Why do you think God would do that if it was a violation of his law? I know Christians say, oh, well, there's good and evil. They think it's really black and white, but it's not black and white. And God never intended it to be black and white. It's the devil, it's Satan who made it black and white, so that you have to choose the baby or the bathwater. I don't know, that's probably not a good example. You either choose your father or your son. I mean, who do you choose? What I'm saying? It's ridiculous that you have to be so black and white, and you're thinking to think that you're a good person. I don't know. I don't understand people who think that God would ever force you to be such a small half person as that, to make you choose between two things you can't choose. Anyway, obviously there's enough people in our society who prefer the same sex, that God couldn't possibly have made such a mistake. I mean, they can't possibly all be like all bad people, sinners, evil people. They can't. I mean, it's clearly partially genetic and partially social. And do you think that God only makes genes? He also creates life situations, and it's according to your karma. And yeah, some of it's positive, some of it's negative. Do you think God's just positive and happy and pure? I mean, yeah, God is a good person and is pure, but God has tolerance for, life would be really boring if everybody were all the same. We don't want to be a homogenized people. We want to explore our diversity, and that's what makes life exciting and brings out the creativity in everyone. And why would it would be so boring if everybody were the same? And anyway, I'm really sad that so many people that are so-called Christian think so many things are evil, when it's evil to judge people like that. That's what's evil, to judge people who are different than you and label them evil. That's what's evil. And just want you to be clear on that. I also saw Al Gore on CNN, and he really got to me. Al, you really got to me, because you were talking about how in 2000, you know, how if you don't vote for Biden this time, it's going to be another situation like 2000, right? Where they can't decide who won, and it's one little hanging tab or something on a voting card in Florida that decides the election, and the, you know, something like that. And, you know, the Supreme Court is loaded with the conservatives, and, you know, he said you don't want that. But, and I really thought, oh, gosh, maybe I should vote for Biden. I mean, really, I mean, all of you, please vote for Biden. I mean, don't vote for Trump. Vote for Biden, okay? That's what I tell you all to do, okay? But for me, it's a different situation for me. I have to vote for the right person for me. Now, my vote supersedes everybody else's, okay? It's my vote that determines the election. I'm really sad to say, because I voted for myself in 2016, Donald Trump won. He's my genetic brother who thinks he's queen. I'm queen, okay? And because he thinks he's queen, he won. It's really sad. And he has destroyed our society as much as he could in 4 years, and he'll do even more damage in another 4 or more years. And he does want more terms than is customary. He's determined to be queen for the rest of his life. But the situation is that I'm queen, and when I voted for the Green Party candidate, which I believe somebody pointed out was Ralph Nader, in 2000, my cousin, and I grew up with him as my cousin, secret cousin, really. I mean, it wasn't official, but he was always at my house with his father, my uncle, Bush Sr. Yeah, so George W., he won because I voted for the Green Party candidate. So you would think the Green Party candidate would have defaulted to the Democrats, right? But it didn't. It defaulted to the Republicans. Why? Because I don't know why, actually, but I believe it's because the first party was the Republicans, and so my family are Republicans, okay? You know, the Bushes are my cousin, and, well, George W. is my cousin. You know, Uncle Bush just died recently, thank goodness. I despised him. I was very horribly abused by George W.'s father, and George W. really, but he did it with a smile. And when they had me on the sex drug that they forced down my throat, I liked him, and he liked that I liked him. But anyway, he won. And then I couldn't vote in 2004 because I was homeless and I had no address. I was not in a homeless shelter, and I couldn't use the shelter's address. I had an address, a mailing address, but that you can't register to vote with a mailing address. You need a residential address, and you know, that's a problem in our voting process. You know, I think everybody should be allowed to vote, even if they don't have a place to live. Okay, I mean, shelters are not sufficient residential addresses to use. You know, homeless people count too. And I was not, I couldn't vote in 2004, and he won. And he knew I was really angry about it. And then Obama won in 2008 because I voted for my fake name, Claire Elizabeth Fields Cruz. Obama is me. Obama is me. He doesn't want anyone to know that he's an 8-year-old girl, okay, parading around in an adult male body. I know it sounds really wacky and weird. Think what you want, but he's me, okay? And, you know, at 8 years old, I was a little more defiled, is the word that comes to me, a little less pure than I am today. At 8 years old, I was sick. I was influenced by pedophiles who were raping me, and I had this arrogant attitude that Obama has, and thought that I was superior to my future self. You know, Obama is guilty of this. He thinks he's superior to me, and, you know, this is the problem with Obama. I really like Obama in a lot of ways. He did a lot of great stuff. He was a great president in many ways. I know my husband, Dean, totally disagrees with me. Most people here in the South disagree with me. Maybe the African American population would agree with me down here in the South, but the white people down here, they hate Obama pretty much across the board. I like him. It's just too bad that he doesn't like me. And, you know, I wasn't born yesterday. I know if I vote, I mean, Biden was his vice president, okay? And, you know, I know that if Biden didn't get Obama to declassify me when he was vice president for 8 whole years, he ain't gonna declassify me as president, and neither is Kamala. I mean, I like, am I pronouncing her first name right? Kamala, like Kama, right? She once explained how to pronounce her name when she was new on the scene, like Kamala. You know, I like Kamala a lot. I think she is so sharp, and I loved what she did to Pence in that debate. Yeah. And I would love to work with her, but, you know, I know if it was a situation where she found out, I mean, she probably already knows about me. I don't know. She's a senator, isn't she? I don't know if all senators know about me. Most of them, I would think they do. You know, if she was in a situation where, you know, she and Biden had to decide to declassify me, and it meant that she would not be the first female president, I'm gonna bet that she's gonna want to keep me secret, okay? I think Kamala wants to be the first female president. She's a politician, she's a lawyer, yeah, she's had an incredible career. I don't know why she would want anything more for herself. I haven't had a career, I haven't had a life, and, you know I'm taking all the high titles here, but, you know, I've earned them, okay? And I've had nothing, nobody's given me anything, you know, nothing. So I'm gonna take it all right? And I'm sorry. You've had a wonderful career, you're brilliant, and, you know, what more does Biden want? I mean, for 8 years of being vice president, I mean, he was, you know, he's been in politics for his whole, for decades. I mean, to see him with Anita Hill and that guy on the Supreme Court, you know, the Supreme Court is not a very impressive lot of people. I mean, I think RBG was like the most impressive of all of them. I mean, John Roberts is his name. I kind of like him. I don't know. And the women, I think, are thinking along the line that I do, you know. I just don't know very much about each individual on the Supreme Court, but that Clarence Thomas, you know, he shouldn't have ever gotten to be there. I'm sorry. And I know his view is ultra conservative, isn't it? I guess he's trying to prove something. I don't know. But yeah, he knows what he did to Anita Hill. He knows what he did, and he's sitting on that court till he dies. And I'll never forget that. But yeah, and, you know, do I need to even bring up the name Brett Kavanaugh? You know, the nerd who kept trying to prove he wasn't a nerd at my house, raping me on a consistent level, you know, all his partying ways. Yeah, he was trying to be something he wasn't. And, you know. And now the truth is revealed. He is a nerd. He's on the Supreme Court. Yeah, good for you, Brett. I don't know what you're going to do for me. You know, I'll be watching. I know they picked him because he's somebody from my past. I know. Well, Brett, you better deliver. That's all I got to say. And yeah, I think Coney Barrett will be a good addition. She really knows her stuff, doesn't she? She's brilliant. She's smart. Smarter than all of you. Like Brett. I'm talking about Brett, you know. I'm talking to Brett. She's smarter than you. I think she'd be good. Just, you know, don't mess with her, Brett, okay? You're a nerd. It's official. You're a nerd. All right. Well, yeah, so voting for myself, you know, defaulted to our worst nightmare, Donald Trump, the Republican. Okay, and when I voted for my fake name, I got my fake self, my 8-year-old self in a adult body, Obama. Okay, we got 8 years of him too. And, you know, I voted for my fake name twice. So that's how you got in office, Obama. And Obama was so sure he was going to get Hillary to be the first, the first woman president. He was so sure he had it in the bag. I don't know, what did he think I was nobody? You know, he underestimated my vote for myself. He was shocked. You know, I totally flabbergasted him, and so was Hillary. They didn't know how much power I had voting for myself, and now they do. And now they're putting forward Obama's vice president. That Biden was Obama's vice president. He's not mine. I would not have selected that man. As I've said in previous videos, and I will put one up here, I can't work with Biden, Obama, I was gonna say. It's true, I have issues with Obama because Obama actually did rape me, okay? Biden did not rape me. And yeah, I don't wanna get into Obama right now. But Biden did not rape me, but he treated me like I was the most filthy, disgusting piece of shit when I was like 12 or 13. I was brought to his house or something in Delaware, I believe it was, when I was 12 or 13, and he just, you know, somebody had given me a ecstasy, you know, and I couldn't control the way I was behaving, and he treated me like I was disgusting. And he put it on me. I was a 12, 13-year-old girl. It's not me, it's the adults in control of me, okay? It wasn't me. And he hurt me in a way that none of the people who raped me hurt me. It was a different kind of hurt that he did to my self-esteem. Because on a certain level, I couldn't forget that. It was just another insult, another put down, you know, confirming I was nothing, and I was nothing. I was shit. I was nothing. That's how I felt walking away from Biden when I was 12, 13 years old. And it affected me for the rest of my life. It affects me to this day. And, you know, yeah, he didn't rape me. Congratulations. But that doesn't mean that we have that our relationship is a pleasant one. It doesn't mean that everything's positive and good. No, that's not good enough, okay? I can't work with somebody who made me feel like shit when I was a child, Obama. I know Obama wants me to do what he wants me to do. Sorry, Obama. You know, you had your 8 years. You have me to thank. You would never have won the presidency if it hadn't been for me. So, you know, you're welcome. And, you know, your vice president is not my vice president. And it's no coincidence that it's your vice president running, okay? It should have been Bernie, okay? But you took control of your Democratic Party, Obama, you and others, and you made it your vice president. Well, it's not gonna work for me, okay? I did give Al Gore a lot of consideration. He said you don't want another situation like the year 2000, you know, when You know, I won the popular vote, but, you know, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It was like a difference of 1,000 votes or something crazy like that, and he lost, even though he won the popular vote or something to that effect. And it was like Hillary, right? But the difference this time is that I'm not voting for myself. I'm voting for Bernie. Now, Bernie would never default to the Republican Party. He was on the Democratic ticket. I mean, he was running for the Democratic slot, right? You know, he's affiliated with the Democratic Party, okay? Yes, he's an independent, but he's affiliated with the Democratic Party. He's not going to default to the Republican Party if I vote for him, okay? He's going to default Democratic, all right? So it's not going to be Trump, no matter what. But he's my vice president, not Biden, okay? And I don't know how all this is going to unfold. It's going to be craziness, and this is why Trump is getting everybody all ready and all upset ahead of time, because he knows what's going to happen. He was worried it was going to happen back in 2016. He was, but it's happening this time. Because he knew Hillary was my older sister, okay? Hillary, you know, Trump is my older brother. You know, we all have the same mother, Margaret Illig Flanagan. She died in 1982 when I was 16, and I was her sole heir, secret heir. You know, she had a public will that had nothing in it, and my mother and her brother, who was Marilyn Monroe's twin, were in that will. But the top secret will, I was the sole heir of. Okay, and I earned that. Okay, I went through it in another video. I don't know if it's the same one I mentioned earlier. I'd have to think about it, but I'll put that video up there. Okay, so you can view your heart away. Anyway, you know, my vote defaults to Republicans. But okay, going over my voting record, and I've gone over this before, the first time I could vote, I intended to vote for Ronald Reagan, but I couldn't because I had just moved to New York City in 1984, and I hadn't registered to vote in New York, and I didn't go back home to New Jersey to vote. Okay, but that would have been my vote. Okay, it wasn't, but because I did not vote, it went to the Republican Party, and Reagan got another term. Then, when I was at Columbia at, I guess it was 89? Yeah, was I at, yeah. But I was at Columbia, I remember this very well, and there were all these Republican students, you know, trying to get people to vote Republican, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna vote Republican. I'm gonna vote for Vice President George H.W. Bush. You know, at the time I had no memory of him being my uncle, which is really surprising, I know. He didn't, you know, they just come over every so often to abuse me, so, you know, it's kind of understandable how I would just block them out of my memory. But yeah, I mean, I'd see, it was throughout my whole entire childhood, and I don't believe it was into my adulthood, but it was throughout my childhood and teenage years. And I voted for him not consciously knowing that was my uncle and that my vote would cause him to win. And he won. He won one term, right? Because after 4 years of George H.W. Bush, I was ready for a change. You know, I had matured, and I wasn't trying to conform to my family's standards like I was when I was young, you know. And so, yeah, I voted in the primary for Jerry Brown, who was in the Green Party at the time. And he lost. I was shocked he lost to Bill Clinton. I was like, oh, I don't like that Bill Clinton at all. Damn. But I voted for him because he was our best bet at the time, and he won. And then I voted for him after 4 years of Bill. I liked what I saw, and I voted for him again. and that's why he won again. And then the whole thing in '98 happened, and and then with Al Gore, I always liked Al Gore the best, but he probably influenced me. Al Gore was probably the reason I voted for Bill Clinton. I liked Al Gore a lot. But by the time that whole impeachment happened and everything, I was really tired of everything Bill Clinton. I was disgusted by him, actually. And I associated Al Gore with him. And I just wanted to change. I was tired of that whole scene. And that's why I voted for Ralph Nader of the Green Party. And I remember how Al Gore begged everyone who was thinking of going with a third party to consolidate their votes and vote Democratic, because if we didn't, he would lose, and we'd be stuck with George W. Bush, and that's what happened. And he warned us, and I still did it. I figured, what the hell? So what? George W. Bush, whoopity-doo-dah. It's okay. That's what I thought at the time. At the time I was thinking, maybe we need it to get a little worse before it gets better, because I was just really disgusted with Bill Clinton, to be honest, and that's not what I signed up for. That's not what I wanted, so let's if that's what Bill Clinton is, we might as well just do George W. Bush. Let's just do it right. Let's just go full force ahead into the chaos. That's kind of where I was in the year 2000. Like, who cares? Let's just go for it. There's no other way but to just obliterate this government and start all over. In the back of my mind, that's kind of how I felt when I voted for Ralph Nader of the Green Party. On some level, I knew what I was doing. So that's my voting history. I guess, you know how Obama got into office, and then after Obama, Trump, about Trump, and here we are in 2020. I don't know whether to conclude here or to continue to mention that I have a stalker. I guess I've mentioned him before. He's shown up here in Augusta recently. His name is David Wayne Craig. He's my ex-boyfriend. And when I was under the influence of serious drugs that were given to me against my will, that were used so I would never remember, I was married to him. And I wanted to be. I was under the influence. He did not want me to remember, and he was acting like such a jerk as he stood there saying, "She won't remember, right? She won't remember." And I was just thinking that he was such a jerk, and how I did not want to marry him, but I would be damned if I was not going to marry him, because that was my dream. It had been my dream. He was my boyfriend. It's a long story. I encountered him for the first time when I was a child in Old Greenwich, Connecticut. It was 1975. All the SGI idiots were at my house raping me, and he was the only one who refused to rape me. And I never forgot him. He's this tall blonde guy that's very. He's really cute. He's really handsome. So pretty that that he's beautiful, I guess I could say. I mean, he's now like in his 60s. I haven't seen him for a long time. He had a major stroke in 2009. And I just so happened to hear about it and get in touch with him on the exact anniversary of the murders of Nicole Brown and my former husband, Ron Goldman. And he's the one who murdered my brand new husband, Ron Goldman, out of rage and jealousy. I don't know why he didn't publicly marry me like a normal man. Why it had to. Actually, he hadn't even secretly married me at that point. So I don't know what his issue with being married to a woman is, you know. He had married some girl to keep her in the country back in the 70s. It was a secret. Nobody knew about it, really. At least he kept it quiet. So he had married somebody before. He had been engaged to somebody that he had planned on marrying and was obsessed with, and she ditched him because he always is letting us down. He's a man who has this severe fear of intimacy, and he resents women. You know, it all goes back to his relationship with his mother, who he has a sexual relationship with. It's very sick and weird. I know in Vega that's normal. If you're over the age of 18, anything goes, right? As long as you have a mother-son, I don't know, father-daughter and reverse relationship, you know, I mean, as long as everything is different, you know, it's not romantic, you know, it's not passionate or romantic, you know, it's father, mother, daughter, son, you know, I won't get into it. I'm just so tired even thinking about this. Anyway, he has a sick relationship with his mother. Let's just put it that way. His father abused him and probably sodomized him and tortured him, and you know, he's a sick man. That's what I'll say. And I mean, beyond sick. I mean, you know, he's a serial killer. He's a serial arsonist. I know that's why California has so many wildfires. He throws cigarettes into the brush and drives away. That's what he does. And there's a wildfire. Okay, that's how they start. It's not all natural. And I've reported him to the authorities again and again. Nothing's ever going to be done. And I don't know why he's stalking me. I was in my home. I take care of Elizabeth. She's a neighbor of mine. And I was at Elizabeth's house, and my car was in the my own driveway at my house when I came over here. And at a certain point, I noticed, when I went outside, I noticed my car was gone, and I assumed it was my husband, Dean, or that he had driven it to his mother's house before he took his mother to the doctor. And I called down there and talked to his brother, and I was so sure that it was down there, and his brother told me the car wasn't there and that Dean had taken his car to take their mother to the doctors. And I was so sure that, you know, I hung up, and I was like, oh, you know, he's not being honest with me. He said he hadn't seen my car. And I called back. I'm like, Dean lent you the car, didn't he? He did that without my permission. And he swore up and down he hadn't, and he didn't have any use for my car. I was really upset because I didn't know where it could have gone. You know, if it wasn't Dean, there's nobody else who has the key other than me. And it was a really big traumatic moment. And then I go outside again, and my car is back. Somebody brought it back. And I called my brother-in-law again. He's like, no, it wasn't me, no, you know. And it wasn't Dean. Dean was somewhere else the whole time. There's no way it was Dean. So obviously someone I have a computer chip for my car. And, you know, it's quite an elaborate thing to get a key for a car like that. It's possible. But yeah, there's somebody in the neighborhood who takes gas out of gas tanks and stuff like that. And, you know, that's happened to my brother-in-law and other neighbors. And, you know, but nobody's reported it to the police. I had to report this to the police because, I mean, it's unbelievable, but I had to report it. My car was missing for a time. And I have security cameras and everything, you know, but there is a way, you know, if you study the situation, that you could do something like this without being on camera. And then, like, within days, there was a loud party down the street. Never has there ever been a party like this. It was young people running down the street, screaming and yelling at the top of their lungs at midnight. It was, well, not midnight, 10 o'clock at night. It was crazy. And I had to call the police about that. Then there was a dog down the street that's always getting out of his yard. He's a very dangerous, mean dog. And my husband can't walk down to his mother's house as a result because he's scared of being attacked by this dog. And so I had to call the police on this dog who had gotten out again. This happened within like a few days. It was just three things. And I know the police were wondering what is going on that street or with Claire. Something was happening. I don't know. I don't know. David Wayne Craig, he just wants the whole world to know what a genius he is. He's a monster, but the monster wants everyone to think he's such a genius, okay? Because I don't know, something happened today that makes me realize that he's still hanging around. He shows up every so often. He burnt a funeral home to the ground recently, Poteet. And I was just reading. There's a judge named Daniel Craig in this neck of the woods. He's the one that legally changed my name back to Claire Elizabeth Elliott, my maiden name. And his daughter died not so recently, and I was just reading how it was. I guess they used Poteet for their funeral home, and it was right. I guess that was right after they had moved up to Davis Road. I don't know. That must have been after the fire. Burnt down to the ground here in South Augusta, and now they had to relocate. And Poteet sounds like petite, right? And that's what I used to be. I used to be a petite. I am petite. And that was his way of, this is what he does. This is what David does. I am petite, but you wouldn't know it, right? You wouldn't know it these days. And today, there was somebody fiddling with my garbage can outside Elizabeth's. Well, it wasn't my garbage can. It was Elizabeth's outside the door here. And my dog barked, and I told them to stop barking, that their daddy, it was just daddy, but because Dean had just left, and obviously somebody had seen Dean leave, and then they fiddled with the garbage can. My dogs barked. I told them to settle down, and then Dean didn't come inside, so I went outside and I saw my garbage can was at the curb like I had put it. I thought Dean was putting the garbage can back in because they had picked up the garbage or something. I thought I hadn't heard the garbage truck, but I thought maybe that's what it was. I didn't know why he was fiddling with it. But somebody had put it back on the curb exactly the way I had put it. I put it really straight, and I like things perfect, and somebody had put it just that way, and it wasn't Dean. Dean is not, he's kind of sloppy, and I knew right away. I was like, that wasn't Dean. And I asked Dean, and he said, no, it was not me. And then I found something as I was putting all the garbage cans away. I put my neighbor's garbage cans away also. I have some elderly neighbors. And as I was putting the garbage cans away, I noticed in front of Elizabeth's house, there was something. And I don't know, I was thinking about whether I should say what it is. It's something that somebody got out of a drawer in our house. And that's when I realized, it wasn't immediate. I don't know, I chose not to think about it immediately. It wasn't until later that I had to tell Dean that, somebody's been in our house. And I've suspected this for a long time. And, something from one of the drawers in our house was on the street in front of Elizabeth's house. And I threw it away. And these are subtle little things. It's not something I can report to the police, They would never be able to find him. He's obviously using an alternative an alternate ID. You know, he's not going around saying he's David Craig, you know. So, you know, he knows how to do this. He's very advanced. Yeah, okay, genius, but yeah, evil genius. I know he's so proud of that. It's not impressive to me, David. That's why you're not in my life anymore, because I finally woke up and realized you weren't the man I thought you were. You weren't the man I dreamed of. I thought you were the man I dreamed of. I thought you were a pure man, and I was so in love with that pure man. The pure man that I met when I was 9 years, was I 9 or 8? I was 9. That was the man I was in love with, that pure man who refused to touch a child. But you really disappointed me in adulthood, and that's why you're no longer in my life today. How can I marry or be with someone who had me raped all the time by your friends and family, and who raped me? Instead of having sex with me, you raped me instead. I mean, how can I be with somebody like that? Somebody who puts glass in my ear when I was homeless, sleeping outside behind a building. You put glass inside my ear when I was sleeping soundly. Eventually it came out of my ear. Thank goodness I didn't go deaf in that ear. That glass came out of my ear when nurses had to get it out of my ear. You know, he did all kinds of, he tortured me, David did. And, you know, everybody thinks he's such a nice guy. You know, he's this tall, handsome guy. He looks like a prince, you know, he does. He looks like Satan did. You know, I was told that Satan looked like David. And I was told that. He's tall, blonde, he's got these blue eyes. He's actually genetically one of my fathers. And very well dressed, very well spoken, charming, you know, just Prince Charming. He's like the personification of Prince Charming. That's what Satan was. He's very, you know, he'd like to think he was Satan, and he has become Satan. He's Satan, the Satan of our time period. But, you know, I don't know how much power he has or influence. Satan had a lot of power and influence because he was from Vega. David's not from Vega as far as I know. He's been there, but, you know, unfortunately, David is me when I was 8 years old. I was a really sick girl at 8 years old, okay? And, you know, because I was tortured and violated and raped, and, yeah, and I was David. And I'm really ashamed to say that, but, yeah, he's me when I was 8 years old. But, yeah, he violently murdered Ron Goldman, my husband. When he found out that I had gotten engaged to Ron, I didn't remember or understand that I had actually married him but the night before, but, you know, I just left a voicemail to tell him I had gotten engaged to Ron. Well, in his absence, you know, he refused to. David, you know, was nowhere to be found. He was my boyfriend, and he was all over town with everybody else except for me. And, you know, I was alone, and Ron was there. And we became really good friends, and he impressed me to the point where I was willing to break up with David. And because David wouldn't pick up his phone, I had to do it by voicemail. Anyway, I guess that's another video, but I guess I had to mention that he is stalking me here in Augusta, Georgia, because he wants me, or I don't know what he wants. What do you want, David? You got to tell me what you want. Send me an email or something. I think you've figured out what my email is. I guess I'll give you clairespeakslife@gmail.com. Go ahead. Whatever you want. Yeah, that would probably be safer. So just email me, okay? clairespeakslife@gmail.com. Tell me what you want me to know, and we'll do it. If you want to turn yourself in, I'd be happy to help you do that. I've told you, I don't know, I thought I told you, I've said, maybe not to your face, but I'll say it now, I'm happy to help you turn yourself in. Happy, you know, just tell me when, where, what, and we'll take care of it. I'm here in Augusta, Georgia. Clearly, you're here too. He supposedly lives in Brentwood, California, but, you know, he's mobile, as I told the police. And I did report it. I did tell them about you, David. I did. I said I almost forgot to mention you. It's been so many years, but yeah, I mentioned to them that I have a stalker. He burnt down Poteet, and, you know, he's an arsonist, and I didn't mention you're a serial killer, but they probably already know. Okay, they probably already know. And that's probably why the officer went and talked to the other officer to wait for me to call him back to mention, oh yeah, by the way, I have a stalker. His name is David Wayne Craig. So just let me know what you want to do, because I'm ready to go. The reason I don't write the book, you know, I was, what is the name now? See, I haven't even thought about it for so long. I'm so frustrated by my situation, and I just don't even want to think about it. He did not do it. What was the subtitle? I'm trying to remember. He did not do it. Ron Goldman's widow tells her Me Too story. That's the name of my book. I haven't finished it yet because I don't have any photos. You know, when you write a book like that, nobody believes you unless you have photos. You know, I have no photos. Ross has all my photos. And until they're released publicly, I don't have a book to write, okay? I don't have a book to offer because everybody's going to just dismiss me as they do again and again. And, you know, there is a secret community of people who watch all these videos. I probably have millions of views on these videos secretly in a secret you know, they probably post it privately in some secret group, and I probably have millions and millions of views, you know, that I don't get any compensation for. You know, that's why I'm trying to create content on YouTube so I can make some money, so I can become financially independent and hire somebody to help me with Elizabeth, so I can, you know, have an okay life instead of struggling. You know, she can't pay her bills. I have to pay her bills, and she can't properly pay me either. And I'm having to pay, you know, just take what she can pay me and pay her bills, and then she pays me back. It's terrible, you know. So please, you know, help me get monetized. I mean, instead of posting all my videos privately and me not making one penny, you know, help me out. I mean, I don't know. You're lucky I even make content. This is why I stop again and again. I stop and go with my business because nobody helps me. I have no support. Nobody watches my videos. Nobody supports me. Nobody talks to me in the comments. Nobody, you know, and if they do, they bully me. Please help me out. I mean, how am I supposed to do my mission if I don't have your support? I guess you just want me to go away and cease to exist and just, like, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm so tired of this life, this fake existence you're forcing me to live. I want to live my existence, my life. And, you know, we have a serial killer, serial arsonist that's burning up California, burning all of it up. And he's going to continue to do so until someone, you know, until, I don't know, David, if you want to come forward, you know, I'm happy to help you do that. Okay, I'm happy to help you do that. You know, if you can help me become a public person, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, if this is how I could go public, by helping you go public, you know, if we can help each other, I'd be willing to do that for you. Okay, and, you know, just contact me in a normal way instead of stalking me, and we'll do this. It's time. It's my birth. I'm turning 55. And how old are you now? Born in 1954. He was born, Ross was the firstborn and he was the secondborn. They were twins. They don't look anything alike. Ross is short. He's balding. He's bald, and he's a brunette. He's got like brown eyes. full lips, you know, and yeah, they couldn't be more opposite looking. But they were born as twins, and Ross was adopted by a Japanese family in on Long Island, New York, and you know, it was David's mother who gave birth to them in Michigan, wasn't it? In 1954, February 11th, 1954. That's Toda's birthday. Yes, Jose Toda's birthday. So that would make you what, 66? Wait, yeah, because you're born at the beginning of the year, you're turning 67. He's getting up there, everyone. Okay, you know, the serial killer who murdered Ron Goldman, my brand new husband, in 1994. He had a partner in crime who nearly decapitated Nicole Brown Simpson. David wanted to get Ron. He let Michael Lafferman, his partner in crime, take care of Nicole. And I'm sorry to talk about it so coldly like that, but that's the way they viewed it at the time. I'm really sorry about what happened. You know, and I suffered along with everybody else who knew them. It was very difficult to recover from, and I have, and I'm ready. So let's do this, David. Contact me by email. I think that would be the safest bet. That's clairespeakslife@gmail.com. All right?